Sydney Roosters reach the sky. Eastern suburbs. We took flight. Come on. Born in Bondi, southern skies ignite. From the east, our spirits rise. Red, white, blue, our story told. From nothing we rose, made our claim. Eastern pride, we built our name. Stronger now, we never fall. Rooster spirit standing tall. Yeah, come on, feel that pride. Let's go. Since the start, the legacy lives. Power the heartbeat gives. Red and blue, we walk with pride. Fans by side, can't hide our vibes. Flags up high, crowd in sync. Roosters rule, we never blink. Eastern suburbs. Da, 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 da. Eastern suburbs. Da, 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 da. Red, white, and blue, we're flying high. Sydney Roosters reach the sky. Eastern suburbs, da, 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 da. Roosters! Get up! Feel that pride! Grand on fire, glory set. Fighting with fire, no regrets. Yeah! Every tackle, every try, hit hard.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Sydney Roosters Diehards, and welcome back to another episode of the Sydney Roosters Diehards News Roundup for your Wednesday afternoon. Hope everyone is doing well. Great to see you guys in here as usual. If you're new here, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the Sydney Roosters Diehards and enjoying the content. Also, check out the Instagram page, Sydney Roosters Diehards on Instagram for your latest Roosters news, updates, and opinions. Few things that go through. There's some breaking news that dropped over the last hour or so, which we will discuss, which I did have originally planned about this particular person, but obviously circumstances have just changed within the hour, so I've had to rechange it all, and as well as a few other bits and pieces to discuss over the next half an hour or so. So welcome. Hope everyone is doing well. We've got some questions as well from our listeners on the Instagram. We'll go through them. Just got a couple there. Yeah. So we've got a couple of questions from our Instagram followers. And if you want to be a part of these once a week or so, we'll do a few of those. Just hit the like button, follow us on the Instagram page, and whenever we drop those questions in the Instagram story, feel free to ask your say. If not, in the comments below and in the live chat, ask your questions, fire away, because we always like to hear your thoughts and opinions and feedback on the content on the channel and all that as well. Right, let's get straight into the news. Let's say good day to the live chat. First up tonight, we've got our boy Jason Reader in here as usual. Good day, Jason. How are you, my friend? Changed profile picture, I believe, too. Very, very nice. Obviously rocking the new Adidas kit as well, the home jersey, which is always great. I obviously, speaking of kits, we've got a few things that have been have circulated in the Roosters space around some new jersey stuff, training jerseys and that, which we will discuss today. I'm trying to find where is it? Might have been from a couple just about there's a guy that tagged me in something a couple months ago. I'm trying to re-find it. Like I said, guys, I've been spending the last hour preparing for this recent turn of events that have happened with the Sydney Roosters. I can always find it at another time, I guess. All right, let's get stuck straight into the news. And the breaking point, as you can see on the thumbnail and title of the live stream, and that. So Max Jorgensen, we've been linked with Max Jorgensen for the last couple of seasons now, in particular as of late. But it turns out that Max Jorgensen has rejected contract offers from the Sydney Roosters, and he's going to set the re-sign with the Wallabies for a further 5 seasons. So putting all the bed, an opportunity to get Max Jorgensen in the red, white, and blue. Obviously, backstory: his son Pete Jorgensen played in the 90s. He's had heavy links with the Roosters. Believe that he's been offered in 2022 and 2024, both knocked back, but he's both knocked them back, and now the third time he's knocked back the Roosters, and he's going to re-sign for rugby union for further 5 seasons. Now, obviously, this is I believe that Max Jorgensen was off contract with Rugby Australia quite recently, so there was obviously a window of opportunity to get him before the World Cup. Obviously, he's turned that down, and he's re-signed for another 5 seasons with Wallabies. It's a bit disappointing because obviously heavy link with the Roosters, connection with the club, and he showed a lot of promise in rugby union and has a lot of similarities to James Tedesco. But unfortunately, obviously, that deal hasn't, I wouldn't say there's been a deal offered, but there's been rumored to. But obviously, that hasn't gone to plan. And, Wallabies keep their man while they've signed 3 other players out of our ranks. So it looks like the Wallabies are winning this battle, which is a bit disappointing. So I'll read the article out from Code Sports here. Jamie Pandarum has posted it up. Wallaby superstar Max Jorgensen has rejected a move to the NRL and is set to sign a 5-year extension with Rugby Australia, tying him up for the next 2 World Cups. Wallaby superstar Max Jorgensen has rejected a move to the NRL, but it understood the off-contract Jorgensen will sign a deal with Rugby Australia at the end of the week that will keep him the Wallabies till the end of 2031. The US will host the World Cup. Unique deal that is estimated to be worth $3 million, while including 2 sabbatical years in which Jorgensen can play for European and Japanese clubs and earn a small fortune, and while still being able to represent the Wallabies. Jorgensen, whose father Peter played for the Wallabies before switching codes and represented the Roosters, has been heavily linked to the Bondi club. With the new deal, the 21-year-old will remain union for a long term. It means that the Roosters have missed out on Jorgensen, who is also losing Gus, Marky Mark, and now Sully to rugby. Sully seemed to let slip Jorgensen's independent rugby deal on Wednesday when he asked he hoped the Roosters would not poach his Waratahs roommate. No, Max is here for a bit, Sully. He said, I love the Sydney Roosters. I love that club ever since I got there. I still do, but hopefully they don't take Max. He's been killing it here. He's a superstar, and he just keeps on getting better and better. Which that obviously suggests that Sully might be staying in rugby as well. Maybe. 2 sabbatical years could see Jorgensen make a switch to the league, but it's more likely that he will test the overseas rugby market where he could earn significantly more than the NRL. Jorgensen's still the highest player profile playoff contract this year, so he expected the signature with a major boost for the Wallabies ahead of the 2027 World Cup at home. He's been one of the best players over the past 2 years, have allowed the Wallabies to retain players, and who are playing for the World Cup next year, blah, blah, blah. And that's pretty much it. Just talk about a little bit more of the Wallabies there. So, obviously, a bit disappointing to hear this. Like I said, obviously, with Pete Jorgensen having a connection with the club, former player, there was obviously a lot of talk there. But it looks like Sully has dropped the bombshell and saying that he's going to stay here for a bit. Yeah, look, obviously, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, would like to have a player like Max Jorgensen, and it'd be nice just to get one back at rugby too. Like, obviously, we got one back with Marky Mark after we lost Sully, and then they got him back. Then they've taken Angus Crichton. So I don't think obviously it's tit for tat, right? But obviously rugby have got the resources to, obviously to pay these players of whatever they want. And now with this deal where the Wallabies can go, well, if you want to play for Japanese rugby or French rugby, you're still able to play for the Wallabies, which you couldn't do that in the past. You had to play in the Super Rugby to be eligible for the Wallabies. But now, obviously, that isn't the case anymore, which is now allowing players to, play elsewhere and then come back and play for the Wallabies for international duties, which I think that's more realistic to do. But in terms of Max Jorgensen, obviously a bit disappointing, because obviously I had high hopes that we were going to go after him and, potentially land him. Obviously, I didn't think until after the World Cup, but obviously they've locked him down to for another 5 years. He's 21 years of age too, so that would have been a great buy if we got him at that age. But obviously, when the deal, his new deal that he's expected to sign, he's got another 5 years, and then he'll be 26. So I'm not saying the door is officially closed, but it's been closed for the next 5 years or so, which is disappointing. But you're going to learn to live with it. And I think the way I see it is that the Roosters have got a plan in place. Obviously, Brody mentions Rex. I forgot his last name; it's very hard to pronounce. But Rex, we've mentioned before on here. He's Rex has been tipped to be the successor for James Tedesco when he retires, and he's got a lot of high praises and a lot of raps. Guru has mentioned his name a few times, and he's shared his high praises of him. And obviously, with the signing of Ruben Garrick as well in 2027, so that's obviously going to give us some breathing space. With a guns winger who does his job and who'll do a role for us. Obviously, won't have the the attacking credibility like Marky Mark has shown over the last year and a bit at the Roosters, but Ruben Garrick's a very solid winger and he'll do his job no matter what. And obviously, I think the way is though, like, do we go after a player? No, I just think we sort of back ourselves with a lot of outside backs in the club at the moment that have got the potential and they've got a lot of talent. I've got high praises for Junior Ponga, who plays center / wing, and every time he's played for the last couple of seasons, had a bit tough run of injury. Junior Ponga has never put a foot wrong on the Roosters jersey whenever he's come on and played for the Roosters and filled in a role. So I know if he gets an opportunity, he will take it with both hands. Junior Tupou, Bassing Weight. Thank you, Brody. I know you had that. I was trying to find the article because I've definitely heard of this guy. But yes, Bassing Weight. Thank you, Brody, BSB legend. I'll see you on the weekend, pal. But yeah, so and obviously Junior Tupou, yes, if you can take that performance against Parramatta, sure, hold that against him, sure. But like, it was his first game at the club. We all have stinkers, so it is what it is, and I'm sure he'll get better as time goes on at the club. Cody Ramsey as well, great winger. We could definitely use Cody Ramsey in the next few seasons or so. Maybe Tommy Talau can move in the wing as well. But don't sleep on Tom Rodwell as well. Like, he had I think he played what 1 or 2 games last year, and he did a great. I think it's just that one game against the Tigers, but man, he played really, really well that game. He just couldn't find the try line. He was just so unlucky, but like, there was signs from the. He's back years where he's been the leading try scorer in New South Wales Cup. Like, he's destined to play first grade, and he's under a great system. So, I would love to see, maybe like Tom Rodwell and Ruben Garrick in 2027 or 2028 when Tupou retires. I reckon Tom Rodwell and Ruben Garrick would be the great wing pairing. Obviously, you're going to lose a bit with Tupou and Marky Mark leaving and retiring and that, but you can, there is security there and there's a lot of options there. So it's not all doom and gloom that you lose Marky Mark, you lose, Tedesco. We've got, obviously Rex Bassingweight, who was in the wilderness ready to go. And, I wouldn't be surprised that we see Rex in the trial games coming up in the next couple of weeks. I reckon he'll be featured in some capacity, whether it is in the NRL trials or the New South Wales Cup trials. He'll be definitely lurking around there, and we'll see a lot of him in the near future in reserve grade, building his confidence and talent up to NRL standard. And then when we give him the green light, when Tedesco retires, we'll see him, and he's a star of the future. There's a lot of high praises of him, so a lot of confidence with, and obviously, and you've seen over the last couple of seasons with the academy and the juniors that we're starting to produce, like, there is, you can see the path with the Roosters over the last couple of seasons, and you're seeing them progress into that first grade role. And me and Lummy spoke about this last week on the podcast, like, that next man up mentality, and these guys that have come through, and and having seasons like last year where, we had a lot of young kids and juniors come through and get that first taste of first grade. It's going to work wonders for us. It really is. You see how far down the track their development has been, and how they're getting to that stage where they're first grade ready a year or two early. It's worked wonders, and I'm sure with the quality that we've got, in the kit, in our outside backs, with fullbacks and wingers and that, like, we don't necessarily need to go after a winger / fullback from rugby, which would be absolutely perfect if we did. But obviously, it appears now that's not going to happen. And now we'll just have to sit tight and back our juniors. And if we do have the right opportunity to go after a player, and if it's warranted, I'll be all for it. Which did remind me, though, I believe now that we've lost 14 players in the last couple of seasons. Now we've got, options now with with some money to spend. That doesn't necessarily mean that we need to spend it all in one hit. Like, we can always, but we have that room now to plan out it perfectly, recruiting well, and find the right time to recruit. Like, do we need to recruit? I don't think we need to recruit in the forward department, but, obviously Tino is available. And it'd be really, really interesting to see. I think Tino is obviously the big fish that it's expected now that the Roosters are becoming the front runners to do. I think that Cooper guy from Melbourne, from the Gold Coast as well, that's been linked to us. I think he'll go to the Storm or stay at the Titans. But Tino, Storm or the Roosters, and there's money there for Tino if it's warranted. Who knows? He's available. Let's do it, I guess. But especially the perfect replacement for obviously different positions, of course, but quality an Australian state of origin representative forward in Angus Crichton leaves. We sign one in Tino. That'd be, who knows? That just makes our forward pack even more scarier. But, for the time being, I think, if Manu comes home, there's offers of opportunities for Marky Mark and Suoliti to return. Suoliti, maybe not. Marky Mark, I reckon, if I could call it, I reckon as early as mid-2027 we get Marky Mark. 27? No. Sorry, 28, I meant to say. 2028. Because obviously signed 2 years with rugby, and then comes to 2028 with Japanese rugby club. Their season ends in May, and then all of a sudden in the June window we get Marky Mark back for the rest of the season. That'd be bonkers, but who knows? But yes, so to wrap that up, disappointing to see Max Jorgensen. He's rejected the Roosters. He's off to remain in the Wallabies. But I back the youth, I back the talent, and I back the club and the recruitment and the juniors that we're producing at the moment. Rex Bassenwaite, Tom Rodwell. I've got high hopes on him. Ruben Garrick in 27. We've got obviously just in case Junior Tupou, Junior Ponga. Cody Ramsey, Tommy Talau. There's opportunities there, and there's some great young players and experienced players that can cover positions and do a job when Marky Mark departs, when Tupou retires, when Tedesco retires. We've got a plan in place, and we've seen that with the forwards, how we produce and back the forwards to do a role for us, and their development has been second to none, and they're so far ahead in their development. We can see the same thing as well with our outside backs crisis that we might have with players departing and retiring in the near future. So I don't think there's anything to worry about, but I don't think it's a time, after this next couple of seasons, a rebuild. I think it's just more similar to 2025, which would be more like a refresh, a reset button, not really a rebuild. We don't have to blow the roster up and rebuild it. It's just, a little bit of a tweak to the roster. I guess that's the best way to say it. Matty says, hey, mate, how are you, Matty? Good to see you here, my friend. Brody, BSB. Nick and Robbo must have a plan instead of Max. I reckon different from Rex. Obviously, you mentioned that. It's just business, I guess. Manu will come back, mark my words. I hang confidence in Manu. I think fullback opportunity in 2028. You always wanted to play fullback at the Roosters. Opportunity, the door might be open come 2028. Young forward training with the first squad at the moment. There's talk on Tula Seve. Where have I heard that name from? SG Ball last year, Brody? Or New South Wales Cup? Maybe Flegg. But I definitely have heard that name before. I reckon, no, SG Ball last year. Yes. And, that's the thing as well. Back on the junior part of it, back on the juniors as well, we won the SG Ball last year, the under-19s competition. So there is a lot of talent coming through the ranks. Like, I remember as well, like if you toss your mind back to 2014, when we had like the Manus and Latrell, Victor Radleys and that, they won the SG ball title in in the under 19s in 2014, remember? And then 2 years later that they won the New South Wales Cup. And then not New South Wales Cup. In 2016, they won the under 20s competition. And then 2 years later, the likes of Manu, Victor's, Nat Butchers, and Latrell's, they won first grade. They progressed. They won the 19s, SG ball in 14. They won the under 20s in 16. And then they won first grade in 18. And obviously 19 as well. So, like, obviously when you win an SG ball title, there's been a lot of players that have been poached over that time as well, which I've been seeing, which has actually been annoying. But at the same time, like, you can see the progress of the development in the academies that have been put in place with the way that they've structured the academy and the juniors and that. We're seeing results, and it won't be a matter of time that we see these kids that have had success in the lower grades will come up into the first grade squad and bring that success with them. So really, really exciting times with our juniors coming through, and I trust them that they'll get the job done. And like Brody says, I reckon Robbo, Uncle Nick, and everyone involved, recruitment and that, they've got a plan, and it's going to work eventually. So, okay, that was a Max Jorgensen thing I wanted to touch on. Literally, I came in like fresh as well because I actually had talk about, whether or not we would go after him and get him, but obviously that got put to bed when the the announcement come up that he's signed with the Wallabies for another 5 seasons. So that obviously had to, quickly scramble. Cohen says, hopefully the academy can net us another James Tedesco / Daniel Tupou for the next decade. Which I suggest, as we mentioned on him, Rex Bassenwaite as well. Brendan West, what a name, Brendan, by the way. Since when does rugby have money? Well, the last couple of seasons that the Wallabies have actually started to make profit, and now they're out of debt, so they can sign whoever they want now. So, and I think the harsh reality is for NRL fans, in particular the Roosters, because that's who they really decide the target for these days, that once the World Cup arrives next year, they're going to get a shit ton of money from that World Cup, and they're going to be loaded for the next 10 years, and they'll be going after any single rugby league player that has had any ounce of rugby experience / background as a junior playing schoolboys and all that, and they're going to be opening the checkbook. They're going to be opening the checkbook. And like I said, I really hope that we lock down Siwa Wong because he'll be the next one that they'll be after. Billy Smith will be another one they're after. This is going to be squeaky bum time in the National Rugby League. Like, I know Kevin Murray, he's got a rugby background as well. Like, rugby is starting to turn the corner financially, and unfortunately for rugby fans, your performances aren't showing that either. So good luck. Like I said, I love Gus, love Marky Mark, Max Jorgensen I'm a fan of, but good luck with the quarterfinals exit next year in the World Cup because we're not beating the All Blacks, and we're not beating the Springboks, and we're not beating England. So, and we're not beating Ireland either. So, yeah, enjoy your pay ride, lads. Love yous, but enjoy your pay rise. Your payday. That's pretty harsh, but love you, boys. That's a bummer for the Chalks. Here was the Roosters' route and is a gun. It is disappointing, like, especially when you have massive links towards him. So, but, that was more of hope than anything because he has obviously, there's been times where we've approached Max Jorgensen and we haven't really come up successful in either 2 attempts, I believe, and as well now that's the 3rd time. So, looks like he's had his heart set on rugby from a while now. Okay, so a few things on this. So the Roosters are currently right now in a training camp, pre-season training camp in Mudgee, which is obviously in in Western New South Wales somewhere. I've never been to Mudgee before, but I know where Mudgee is, like map-wise, out that inland. Of New South Wales, obviously doing a training camp up there for the next couple of days. I believe in that. Obviously, we're 2 weeks away from our first trial game in Newcastle, so obviously it's a great opportunity have that last final bit of preparation of preseason, the last stages of preseason before they transition into a workload for training. Yeah, it's out in the bush, like Mudgee, Park, Stubbo, out that way. So obviously in the that final preparations before they get ready for the NRL season, which is less than a month away. Like I said, we're less than 2 weeks away from our first trial game. So, but obviously we've been doing this in the past. We've been doing these sort of training camps. I know we did one in Queenstown a couple of years ago. We did one in Gosford in Central Coast last year. So it's always, and obviously we've had another one late last year with half the squad doing the Kokoda Trail. Now the full squad camp there in Mudgee, which is really, really good. Get that different perspective away from the bright lights of Sydney, and obviously get away and all the experiences up there. Obviously, the Roosters fans had a members event, members or open training session today, which was really, really great to see a lot of Roosters fans out that way come out and see the boys and see a little bit of the preparations there. And so it's always great to see. Obviously, there's not a lot to talk about on that department, but obviously that's where the Roosters are at the moment, which is always great to get away from it all and, lock in for a massive 2 weeks of training before we get into some footy. 2 weeks away from our first Roosters game of the season. Obviously, we've got some SG ball and lower grade trial games over the next week or two. I'll keep you guys up to date on scores and updates and that as well on here and on the Instagram as well. So stay tuned for that one. The NRL forward pack radar. The Daily Telegraph has predicted the Sydney Roosters as the best so the Daily Telegraph has rated the Sydney Roosters as the best forward pack going into the 2026 season. So let's go through here. Fear factor, 23 out of 25. They're big and intimidating and have done it all before. The Roosters pack is the scariest in the competition. White has become an elite, better ball carrier, running 136 meters a game last season on average at 61 tackle busts. Crichton is a nightmare for half defending him on an edge. Their bench doesn't make life easier with Lenio, a firebrand. Most teams will fear coming up against this pack. Rotation, 22 out of 25. Attack, 20 out of 25. Defense, 22 out of 25. Yeah, look, I've always praised our forward pack. Our forward pack is one of the best out there. Is it the best, though? Like, you've got to consider, the Broncos, with Payne Haas alone and Paddy Carrigan, that's a scary forward pack. I think you can, Penrith have always got a great forward pack. The Sharks as well. Say what you want about the Sharks. They've got a great forward pack. Melbourne have always got a great forward pack. It's going to help. Obviously, I don't think, that means that we're the best. But if we are the best, there's not a lot of difference between the big clubs as well. So there's a little bit of margins, but not a lot. So, but yeah, it's always great to see that, we get the praises for having a great forward pack. And obviously we do have a great forward pack. And I think it will be, especially like I mentioned earlier with the development of the juniors that have come through and done a role for us. And now they've had that first grade experience and they're progressed in the development of their career. You're going to see a lot more, the Blake Seeps this year and Celessi Fekettis, and, you still got a lot of time up their sleeve for, the Salva to get that more first grade experience. Taylor Lasalu, Makatoa. There is so many players that have done a role for us in the last couple, last year or two, that they're going to be better for it. And then, obviously the progression of Nafahu White, Lindsay Collins has always obviously been a consistent front rower. Our edge back rowers of Crichton, obviously Siwa Wong, how he's developed over the last 3 seasons or so. He's getting better every year. Victor Radley, when he comes back, he's, Victor's Victor, Connor Watson, Nat Butcher, and I'm still a massive fan of Egan Butcher. I honestly, if I got to go off road here for a sec, I don't understand why there's so much hate towards Egan Butcher. People forget last year that he come back from an ACL injury as well. Same as Sam Walker. he had to get time to find his feet, similar to Sam Walker. Obviously, Sam Walker's different because he can come back and just kill it like he always does. But Egan Butcher's obviously different because he's in the middle and as a forward. And yes, he had on and off games, and I just wasn't a fan of the criticism of Egan Butcher. And you could see towards the back end of the season when he is on, he is on. And now that he's had a preseason back, I think he will see the best of Egan Butcher this year. I really do. Like I said, I got massive praises for Egan Butcher. I think he's probably better than Nat on his day. But, and speaking of Nat as well, congratulations to Nat and his partner or wife, Harmony, is it, I believe, with the arrival of their twin children. So twin babies. So congratulations, Nat and the family. But yeah, I just wanted to cover that as well. Like, I think Egan Butcher is a great player, and I don't think he deserves all the criticism. You know, maybe you could say that he deserved a bit of it. You know, was his form warranted to be, on the bench? Yes, but just the hate was just unnecessary at times. Anyway, but yeah, so I can agree with the fact that we probably have the best forward pack in the comp up there, and it's just time to tell whether or not we deliver or not. But yeah, so back to the Mudgee camp then. Now, obviously, we saw a little bit of a drop of actually, I just want to quickly screenshot that because I've just found something. Thank you to 7 News for this one. But yes, so what I was alluding to is that the Roosters and Adidas dropped a new range the other week, on the weekend, I believe. So obviously we've got the, as seen on the Roosters page, obviously with Tedesco in the warm-up tee, the old retro warm-up tee, our first jacket under Adidas or jumper, and obviously the light blue, Bondi blue training gear. But obviously the training jersey was the one that really caught my eye, and that was the Heritage retro jersey, which if I get it out on screen for you guys, I don't have the one that we got now, but like I'll bring out the Heritage jersey from 2018, right? So we got that one. Oh, I'll take the green screen off. Hang on, bear with me, lads. All right, here we go. There you go. You can see my ugly head again. But yeah, so obviously it's that similar design, right? With the Heritage design with the stripes, instead of a V, it's across the line there, kind of thing. So we got that one back, which is really, really great to see it back in that capacity. Let me just put the green screen back on. There we go. Hello. But as I put that away, but as well as you see today, like the Roosters obviously had an open training session today, and there was another training jersey, Heritage jersey, that appeared, which was the red one, which we last wore as an Anzac jersey in 2020, similar. But the last time we fully went out on a Heritage jersey red was 2016, but that was an alternate jersey. That wasn't a Heritage jersey. 2014, 2015 was the last time we had that design, but it was red. So let me take the green screen off again. I'll show you guys today. The spotted training with the red one. Now I've actually just got a close-up version from I found it on Channel 7, so I'll put it up there on screen for you guys. There you go. I'll put a clip up and show you guys properly. But obviously with the red stripes down the line instead of the V like we use traditional V, the red whites down the side there. The Adidas stripes are at the shoulders here, but they're white, which I really, really love. Blue logo too with the Roosters one itself, very, very cool. So it's great to see, like I said, like with Adidas as well. The range so far, we've been, as fans, we're really, really impressed with the range so far. And now that we see these training jerseys appear, massive cop. And I'm pretty sure most of the range sold out when it went on sale on Friday. So obviously there'll be new releases in that come the season starts and that, but they're going to sell it like hotcakes, and that will continue to happen as more of the range gets released in the preparation to the season. And obviously we're still 2 weeks away from the first trial game, and we haven't seen the away jersey. That's probably, I'd say, the next thing that we'll see from the Roosters. And then, but I will want to say, though, I want to see that red, obviously not to that design, like similar, but the one that Cody Ramsey I just showed then, the training heritage jersey, the red one and the navy blue one. I want to see them back on the players on field. And I think it's been maybe 4 years now that we've had a heritage jersey. And I know we're coming up in the 2027, 2028, when we're going to have, obviously, I think next year, 2027, we're going to have our 120-year celebration as well. And I'm sure that we'll have a new logo, a new heritage logo for that season. And we'll have it, those designs will return. But I'd love to see something like that return this year. We've seen it on the training jerseys. Let's get them back on the match jerseys. Let's get them back on field. And let's see the heritage jerseys return because, I do believe that we've got the best heritage jerseys in the competition, without a doubt. Our heritage jerseys stand out so much better than everybody else in the comp because we're not used to it, because we're used to this traditional design. So, anyway, that's my take on it. But let me know, you guys know in the comments. Let's finish up with our questions on Instagram. We'll wrap things up really, really quickly. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate your time. What is the Roosters' best 17 for 2026? Okay. I'm going to include Victor Radley. My best 17 is not the round one. So obviously Tedesco, Tupou, Billy Smith, Rob Toyer, Marky Mark, DCE, Sam Walker, the Fahu White, Reece Robson, Lindsay Collins, Angus Crichton, Victor Radley, Connor Watson, Savala at 14, Egan Butcher, Nat Butcher, Zewa Wong. And then if not, even go either, you can swap either one of the Butcher brothers for Blake Steep. And that's a pretty, really good squad, isn't it? But yeah, our side's stacked, man. I'm really excited for the year ahead. Would you play Daly Cherry Evans 6 or at 7? 6. I reckon he should be our 6 because Sam Walker's our 7. It's his team. And I think we've seen it before that Sam Walker is a 6 with Luke Keary being the conductor. It's got to be Sam Walker's team, right? He's got to be the one to direct the players. DC can be a guide and he can fill his role the way he can, but it's Sam Walker's team and he needs to be the one calling the shots, in my opinion, for it to work. Is Reece Robson going to do well at 9? Yes, 100%. We've been on it the last couple of weeks now. Reece Robson at 9 is going to be a great addition to this squad, and I can't wait to prove a lot of people right, because when Roosters fans have been saying it, how good he is, and I can't wait to prove him right. Can't wait to prove myself right that Reece Robson is going to be one of the best 9s into the 2026 season. He's going to be the New South Wales hooker. He's going to be I've got so high praises for Reece Robson. I think he will kill it for us. And last thing with Matt here, do you think us Roosters fans lack passion against Souths? I do. Living in the Junction, we lack it. We actually covered about this 2 weeks ago on the Chooks agenda, which we got still waiting for. Can't wait to, I guess, to relaunch, or not relaunch it, but to, bring it for the next episode for whenever it is. Look, I do get your point, eh? I do really understand. I can tell, I know a lot of South fans, and they just can't stop talking about the Roosters, eh? But, that just shows what a club we are. We couldn't give a rat's ass about South. That's the problem. We really couldn't care about the Rabbitohs like the Rabbitohs hate us. Because we just simply don't give a shit about them. Obviously, the rivalry is hateful and obviously passionate. But, I get your point, but at the same time, I understand your point that you probably say South fans hate the Roosters more, but South is still the team I hate the most out of every other club. And, I don't know. It's hard to read about it. I can't speak for every Roosters fan, but I hate them too, man. I'm surprised on the way that I speak about Souths. The way that you describe that I should be a South fan, just, my hatred towards Souths is basically the definition of a South fan that you guys think of South fans thinking about us. That's what I think about Souths, is the way they think about us. If that makes sense, you're trying to say, because I can't stand them. I really can't stand them, eh? I dead set can't say. I can't say stand South Sydney. I hate them with a passion, and I can't wait to flog them in round 2. Let's just say that. But yes, I can see some arguments there, but the rivalry is strong as ever. All right, guys, that's going to wrap things up. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. G'day, Jake. How are you, bro? Just seen that. But thank you very much for tuning in. Brody says we have Raiders recruitment officer now too, Joel Coburn, and he recruited Pongers to the Knights. Hello, ring-a-ding-ding. Does that ring a bell? Who knows? So, well, if that's the case, we'll see Callum Ponga in 2028, 2029. Okay, speaking of see you guys, we'll see you guys very, very soon for the latest episode of the Roosters news roundup. We've also got the Chook Chuck podcast coming out very, very soon in the next couple of days or so. And with all the other Roosters news updates and opinions, follow the Instagram page for your latest updates. Thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, it's goodbye for now. And go the Roosters and stuff the Rabbitohs. Because I wanted to end it like that. It's my channel. It's our channel, I should say. It's our channel. We hate South. Goodbye.